I've had a very strange cycle so far. My throat kind of sounds horrible, and I am sipping a lot of tea. More info to come. Okay guys, so I apologize for my voice. I haven't explained this in videos before, but there have been a couple times where I've said I was on antibiotics or whatever, or I was sick. I jokingly say I am the strep throat and tonsillitis queen. Now, what I mean by that is ever since I was like in high school, I started getting recurring strep and recurring like tonsillitis and infections in my throat. I've even gone to an ear, nose, throat specialist for an evaluation, and they said that I have to have, I think the recommendation now for an adult to get their tonsils out, not a child, you have to have 7 instances of strep or tonsillitis, and it meets all these criteria like fever, treatment, blah, 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 proof, in order to qualify to have your tonsils out. Or I think it's like 4 or 5 infections a couple years in a row, and basically every year I wind up with like 3 or 4 infections a year. So I am back on an infection, which really, really stinks. I am recovering beautifully, but yeah, I'm sorry, my throat's still a little weird, and I'm drinking my tea while making this video so I can still update you guys on what's going on. But basically, what happened is it comes on really, really quickly for me, and I'm so used to getting it that at this point I'm like, I know what it is, and I run off to the doctor as soon as I feel sick. So what was funny is the last 2 times I've had strep, I went to the doctor, they did the rapid strep, and it came back negative, and then they sent it for the long test, and it came back positive. So anyways, what happened is I went to the doctors, and I got, and they did the rapid test, and it was negative. I was like feverish and just feeling awful and body aches, and my glands were just giant, like I couldn't even swallow. So I went to the doctors right away, and this all happens in like 24 hours. It's crazy. So I go to the doctors and they say, oh, well, the rapid strep's negative, but I haven't seen throat this bad in a long time, so let me just give you antibiotics and prednisone, which is a corticosteroid, not the steroids that make you big, but there's a kind of steroids, corticosteroids, that actually kind of like can reduce swelling and inflammation. So my tonsils were huge, so they gave me corticosteroids. In the past, every time I've had corticosteroids, they can stop my cycles. So I wasn't expecting it to because it was a smaller dose, but I was like kind of mentally prepared, and I was like, well, whatever happens. But there have been cycles where I've gotten strep and still ovulated. Like, it's so funny. Like, my body, you know, just weirds me out. There are cycles where everything's totally fine and I'm not stressed and like everything's great and I'm eating super healthy and exercising and everything and doing yoga, and like I don't get my period, or I don't ovulate on time or whatever. And then there are other cycles where like I'm like on death's door or super stressed and I still ovulate. So I don't even understand it. But anyways, so I took the medicine and everything was going great, and at this point I was still using OPKs. And it was so funny because my husband's like, are we really gonna baby dance if you're really sick? And I was just like, no, I won't, like, let's not go there. I really feel horrible. I was like, but you know what, and I was like, and I don't want to give you strep either. Thank God he didn't catch it. Whew. But anyways, so he's like, are we really gonna baby dance? And I was like, no, but let me still like pee on the sticks, like take the OPKs, the LH test, whatever you want to call them. It's like, let me use the ovulation predictor kits, and that way I at least know if my cycle stopped or not. And so he's like, you know, that makes sense. So anyway, so we did that, and I tested and tested and tested and tested, and finally I am on day 29. 29. And so I started taking the antibiotics, I think around day 21 or 22, and I still hadn't had a positive OPK, and I was a little bit like, but I could feel almost like my body was gearing up to ovulate. So I think what happened is like, I was having one of those cycles. I usually ovulate on day 17, or I get a positive LH on day 17 and the latest I've ever had one in a like normal cycle was day 21. So I think what happened on day 21 is that my body was like gearing up to ovulate and was like gonna give me a positive LH. And then I started the corticosteroids, the prednisone, and it just said, and stopped my cycle, stopped me from ovulating, and I was sick, and so my body just didn't ovulate. And so, and thank God, it was so funny. I was so determined. I was like, you know what? There have been other cycles where I've stopped using OPKs and then like, you know, completely missed it. And I hate being in the dark because it's like, thank God I kept testing, because otherwise I wouldn't have known when to expect my period. Like I hate not knowing when to expect my period. That's the main reason, because you just like, you constantly think every symptom you feel, you know, is it PMS or am I pregnant? Like, did it actually work? Did some miracle happen? Like, did the antibiotics do something to my body? And because I have heard of that before too, where like women take antibiotics and like they, because of something else, and they happen to get pregnant that cycle. I don't know what it is. But anyways, so I kept testing, thank goodness. What even happened is I started running out, and when I had 2 OPKs left, so what I do is I wake up, because I'm a night shift worker, I work as a night shift nurse, I wake up in the afternoon, and you're supposed to test in the afternoon anyways. I just wake up and use basically first morning urine for my OPKs, and that's always worked for me in the afternoon. So I wake up around like 3 or 4 p.m. and use the OPK right away, and if it has any hint of anything, then I use another one like 6 hours later and just keep doing that. I had 2 OPKs left because, like I said, I only bought a small amount, and I was like, oh, you know what? I just joined Amazon Prime, thank goodness. So I went on, and for 2-day shipping, free 2-day shipping, I got another pack of OPKs, just like, I think 15 or something, just to hold me over, because I was like, I have to know. And I like even looked at like going to a store and buying them, and they're just so expensive if you don't get them online, the little cheapies. So that's what I did, and it was funny. So I used 2 more OPKs, and then on the last day when I just ran out, my free 2-day shipping brought my new OPKs to me, so I was like, thank goodness. So that was really happy. So I kept testing, literally started testing on cycle day 16 and didn't get a positive until cycle day 29. So that was crazy, and I was only on the prednisone for I think 5 days, so it makes sense because it's like, you know, day 21 my body could have had a positive LH, but I started the medicine that day and I was sick, and then, you know, 5 days later basically I, you know, went off the prednisone and then I got a positive LH. So I think my body was kind of like just waiting for all that to be out of my system. This bout of strep hit me really hard, which is why I still kind of sound not so great, even though it's been basically like a week. It just really knocked me down this time. Still drinking lots of tea, still doing that whole thing. I feel infinitely better, but anyways, I was like thinking about doing a video, and I was like, let me at least wait till I like have half of my voice back, because this is gonna be horrible. But anyways, so what else is going on? So I finally got my positive LH, and because I was feeling much better, we decided to baby dance. And so I actually think our timing was really, really good this cycle, because we just happened to baby dance just like for fun. Woohoo! Like a couple days, or it was like, when was it? It was like 2 days ago, before my LH test was positive, because it was positive today. So it was 2 days ago, and then I like could feel my body gearing up. Like I can usually tell when it's gonna happen because of changes in like, you know, CM and things like that. And so I felt it, and I was like, well, let's just like be safe, baby dance again. So we did. Good times. And then today we're planning on baby dancing later on tonight, because it's the afternoon. Obviously you can see there's sun right now. I just had my positive LH, so I figured I'd sit down and make you guys a video and let you know what happened, but it was a crazy cycle. So anyways, officially cycle day 29, and I finally got a positive OPK. So I am 0 DPO right now, or like probably, I'm like what, -1 DPO, because I probably will ovulate tomorrow. So anyways, we'll keep on the baby dancing routine, and we're using the Mucinex and Pre-Seed and all that good stuff, or Conceive Plus. And I will definitely let you guys know what the results of this cycle are, and that we officially have our fertility stuff coming up in a couple weeks. So I'm excited, and The other cool thing about me having the delayed ovulation is, according to a fertility friend, I'm supposed to get with my typical luteal cycle of like 14 to 15 days, I am supposed to get my period on the day that we go meet the fertility specialist. So I think that's kind of cool and fortuitous. I mean, obviously if I get pregnant, that would be amazing. But at this point, it's a little bit like, I'm a little doubtful because it's been so long. So it's more like, it'll be nice to have a new cycle the day that I see the doctor, because any testing or anything they want to do, it's kind of like we're starting out fresh from cycle day 1, and then whatever testing or medicine or blood tests they need to do for hormones, it's like they have the whole cycle ahead of them. It's not like I'm going in the middle of the cycle and not knowing what's going on. So I actually think that that's kind of cool, and I'm glad things kind of lined up that way, and I like to think there's a little bit of fate in that. But anyways, my voice is dying and I need to finish my tea, and this video is getting long. So I'm sorry for all the rantiness and all that good stuff, but I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!